I do want to ask you this, and it's funny that you kind of already started to hit on this, Ewok, because I had this in the notes too. There's been a lot of like relative to Bitcoin strength with Ethereum for some months now. I mean, we're going on like 6 months really since the lows of, man, almost forgetting this now. I guess it was June of 2022 when we first had the 17.6K BTC, which seems like so long ago now. But at that time, ETH dropped below $900. I mean, we had like a whole day on a weekend, I remember, where ETH was like 850 to 875. We've seen so much strength with Ethereum since then because of obviously the merge of the news, which did the news of the merge. I think I said that back. That happened in September. So there's been so much strength with Ethereum since then. I mean, I almost can't believe this. We saw it run up to 2K. I forget when that was. I think that was probably leading into the merge, if I remember. But yeah, it ran up to 2K. There was probably that resistance point you had up a minute ago. I forget. But yeah, so now we're the whole way back down to 1200, trading below the 200 week MA for Ethereum. But my point is that we've seen so much strength with ETH, and while seeing new lows for Bitcoin since November, ETH hasn't gone lower, I don't believe, than $1,100 again since then. So my question to you would be, how confident, there's people out there that have called for like a low in this bear market of 450 for ETH and stuff like that. I personally, I think that's a pipe dream. I don't think there's any way Ethereum goes that low. I guess I could see hypothetically if Bitcoin if it's the big bloodbath that some people are expecting and we get to like 11K, I maybe could see ETH wicking to 650 or something like that. But I think my median scenario for something like ETH is maybe just if we get new lows that ETH just touches that same low that it hit back in June of 2022 of about 850 or so. I don't know. It's just looked so good. And yeah. I also wrote the notes. Another an L2 that I like a lot, obviously, is Polygon Matic. There's a lot of money and stuff behind Matic as well. It was 30 some cents back in June of 2022. I just don't see a way that comes back. There's people calling for that to happen again too. All this stuff was announced for Polygon and like all this Disney backing and everything. I just don't see. I think some people are just like kind of throwing darts because they saw those numbers back then and assuming that's what we're going to get again. Some of these had a lot of real life tangible things happen with them in the interim. And I don't think that means just because BTC finds a new low that those are also going to find a new low.
Yeah, and you have to keep don't have a short-term memory either because, Disney backing something isn't always the best thing. I remember they said the same thing about Dragon Chain in 2017 that Disney was behind it and it was the premier platform to onboard these new websites and things like that. It didn't do much. In fact, it's gone way down ever since. So I don't even think it did anything in the last bull run at all. So I don't know. I do agree with what you're saying. But we still, you almost have to have that final capitulation down to that certain percentage. I mean, until things are different, they're gonna probably be very close to the same.
Are you crapping on my Disney fandom? Because I'm a big Disney guy.
I'm a big Disney guy too. I have kids that love it and been to Disney several times. But that was one of my things. I thought this Dragon Chain thing would be amazing. Disney.
I think I remember you talking about it. I think I remember that.
Yeah, I had bought a fair amount back then, and it just didn't pan out at all. So
well, hey, 2017 versus 2022. I believe a lot more. I'm not just saying that Disney is the catalyst for Polygon Matic. I'm just saying that's one of the things that's happened in the interim. I just think
that just made me think of it. That's all.
Yeah, I hear you. I just think that some people are just assuming based on like it's just people who are traders that don't really know these tokens. And I know like FA and TA are two totally different worlds and people have disagreements and stuff in there. I'm just saying that I guess what I'm saying is don't get married to like a price that you assume is going to happen again. Because I remember, you probably do too, Ewok, back in June, I was so pissed at myself, and I still am now. Like a ETH at 850 was sitting there staring me in the face all day long, at the very least 900, and I didn't pull the trigger because I thought, no, it's going to go to 500 or 600. And Hasn't even sniffed it since. Maybe it will. I'm not saying
Yeah.
it's not going to, but those kind of experiences, I've talked about this before, allow you to, like in November when the world was burning again and FTX happened and everything. I put in a lot of buy orders over that week or so. So,
Right.
Yeah.
I just think if Bitcoin does come down, it's going to bring a lot of stuff with it, including Ethereum. Although, like you had mentioned, though, the strength of it has been really good. It's been pretty solid. So, we're probably not going to get that 450, 500, but I think we could still tap somewhere between 6 and 8. So if it happens again, get your powder ready.
Oh, it's ready. Yeah, it is ready and willing, actually.